There is a watch at the gas station down your street that costs $10. And there is a watch in a vault in Geneva that costs $1 million, a watch that a single man built with his own hands over an entire year. Here is what nobody tells you. Both keep time, but the cheap one keeps it better. That is the strange, uncomfortable truth this entire industry is built on. And by the end of this video, you will look at any watch in a store window, on a stranger's wrist, on your own nightstand right now, and you will know exactly which of 5 levels it belongs to and roughly what it really cost to make. Stay with me. Because level 4 is where almost everyone gets fooled, and level 5 is where it stops making any sense at all. Let us start at the bottom. Level 1. $10 to $100. The territory of the honest tool. More than 90% of the watches on this planet live right here. Mass-produced quartz modules, plastic, resin, basic steel. No decoration, no pretension, pure function. And here is the first surprise of the day. There is more dignity in this level than the snobs will ever admit. Because 2 absolute legends live down here. The first, the Casio F91W. $10. A battery that lasts 7 years. And, by most counts, the best-selling watch in human history. The second, the Casio G-Shock DW 5600. $45 of certified toughness, strapped to the wrists of soldiers on every continent. Now, remember what I said in the beginning. A $5 quartz movement keeps better time than a $5,000 mechanical one. That is not an insult to the expensive watch. It is just physics. A quartz crystal vibrates 32,000 times every second, and it vibrates with a consistency no spring, no gear, no human hand could ever match. The most expensive mechanical watch on Earth might lose a few seconds a day. A cheap quartz might lose a few seconds a month. So let that sink in. In the one job a watch is supposed to do, tell the time level 1 already wins. Everything above this point is about something else entirely. That is why this level is not the bottom of the ladder. It is the foundation the whole ladder stands on. When should you buy here? When you need a tool, not a statement. When you are heading to the gym, the ocean, the job site, the airport. When the watch might get scratched, soaked, or lost, and you need it to simply not care. Both Casios are linked below, and honestly, most people watching this could stop right here at level 1 and never feel a single thing missing from their lives. But something happens to a certain kind of person. One day, a tool stops being enough. One day, you want the watch on your wrist to say something about you. That is when you climb to level 2. Level 2. $100 to $500. The gate into real watchmaking. And this is the most important step in the entire journey. Because this is the exact moment you stop buying a device and start buying a machine. A living one. Automatic movements. A rotor that spins with the motion of your own wrist and winds the watch while you wear it. Tiny gears breathing under the glass. Quick pause here, because if you are still with me this far in, you are exactly the kind of person this channel is built for, someone who wants to understand what they are buying before they spend a cent. That is the whole reason I make these. If that is you, the subscribe button costs nothing and keeps these coming. And down in the comments, I am genuinely curious. What watch are you wearing right now? Drop it below. I read them. Now, level 2 has 3 kings. The first, the Seiko 5 Sports. From $180, a Japanese automatic movement, 100 meters of water resistance, and a transparent back so you can actually watch the rotor spin. It is the single most recommended first mechanical watch on Earth, and there is a reason for that. The second, the Orient Bambino. $150. Owned by Seiko, wearing the elegance of a $3,000 dress watch, running an in-house movement most brands at this price could never afford. The third, the Tissot. PRX. From $175. Swiss-made, with an integrated bracelet design descended directly from the legendary Gerald Genta, the man who drew the 2 most copied luxury watches in history. The PRX punches so far above its price, it almost feels like a mistake. All 3 are linked below. But sooner or later, the Japanese and the affordable Swiss stop being enough too. Sooner or later, you want real heritage, real history, and that costs more. Level 3. Level 3. $500 to $3,000. The Serious Swiss League. Here, the movements get certified by independent institutions that test them for days before they are allowed to leave the factory. The finishing gets done by hand, on the parts you can actually see. The brands carry archives, a century-deep, real history you can point to. And for the first time in this entire journey, the watch starts holding its value on the resale market instead of dropping like a stone the moment you walk out of the store. 3 names own this territory. The first is Hamilton, the American soul with a Swiss heart. Its khaki field is the watch every other field watch is quietly measured against. And its history in Hollywood, from Elvis Presley's wrist to the movie Interstellar, is not a marketing story someone invented. It actually happened. Hamilton has been on screen for almost a century. The second is Tissot at its ceiling, the PRX Powermatic 80. 80 hours of power reserve for under $700. Think about that. You can take it off on Friday night and it is still running on Monday morning. That is very likely the best specification to price ratio in all of Swiss watchmaking. Full stop. And the third is Longines Elegance with receipts. 190 years of history. Aviation chronographs with heritage real pilots actually used. Finishing that quietly competes with brands charging double, sometimes triple. This is the level where a watch stops being a purchase and becomes a gift that outlives the person who gave it. The watch from your own graduation becomes the watch on your son's wrist at his. That is not something a $10 Casio can ever do, no matter how well it keeps time. But above this, something changes completely. Above this, the watch stops being an object you use and becomes an object you almost cannot believe exists. Level 4, $3,000 to $50,000. True luxury. And this is where almost everyone gets fooled. Stay with me, because this is the most misunderstood level of them all. Here live the names you already know: Rolex, Omega, Grand Seiko, Tudor. And here is the thing that shocks people when they finally hold one. At this level, precision is no longer the point. Let me say that clearly. A $12,000 Rolex does not tell time any better than the $10 Casio we started with. In pure accuracy, the Casio often wins. So what are you actually paying for? You are paying for integrated manufacture. Movements designed, machined, assembled, and finished under one single roof by one company, answerable to no one. You are paying for proprietary metallurgy Rolex's Ever-Rose Gold, engineered so the rose color never fades the way ordinary rose gold does. Grand Seiko's steel, polished with the Zaratsu method, a mirror finish so perfect it has zero visible distortion, produced by hand by only a handful of trained humans on the entire planet. You are paying for materials science, for water resistance tested to depths no human will ever reach, for a bracelet that took more engineering than some cars. You are paying for the most physically perfect object mass production is capable of making. This is the absolute ceiling of what industry can do. Right at the edge, right before industry ends completely and something stranger takes over. And here's my honest advice for this level, the part the brands will not tell you. The best value here is not the Rolex with the 2-year waiting list. It is Grand Seiko and Tudor, where every dollar goes into the watch itself, not into the logo and the hype. So, if level 4 is the ceiling of what a factory can build, what could possibly be above it? Something that is barely a product at all. Level 5. $50,000 to infinity. The territory of pure art. And I need you to understand up here. The rules you have used your whole life simply stop applying. Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, A, Lange and Sone. And then, higher still, the independents, the ones most people have never heard of. F. P. Journe, and Philippe Dufour, a single man who builds around 20 watches a year, entirely by his own hand, whose masterpiece now sells at auction for more than $1 million. Up here, a single screw can take 3 hours to polish a screw hidden deep inside the movement that almost no one will ever see, sealed behind a caseback, invisible for the entire life of the watch. And they polish it anyway. A single movement can take a year to build. The finishing is done under a microscope, by hand, by one person who may make only a few dozen of these in an entire lifetime. The question up here stops being how much it costs to tell the time. That question died 3 levels ago. The question becomes something almost philosophical. How far can a single human being's obsession with perfection actually go, when money is no longer the limit and nobody is watching? And now the reward for staying with me to the end. Because here is the truth that ties all 5 levels together. That craftsman polishing an invisible screw for 3 hours in a silent workshop in Switzerland, and the Casio engineer who designed a $10 module that will survive a decade in a war zone, are the same person. The exact same obsession, pointed in opposite directions. One chased perfection you can feel but never see. The other chased perfection you use every single day and never think about. That is what watchmaking actually is. Not a product. A philosophy with a strap. So, which level should you actually be at? Here is my honest answer, and it is not the one Instagram wants you to hear. The right level is the one your real life needs, not the one that gets likes. If you are just starting, level 2, a Seiko 5 or a Tissot PRX will teach you more about why watches matter than any video ever could, including this one. If you already feel it in your chest, Haft, level 3. A Hamilton or a Longines is the exact point where passion and common sense are still on speaking terms. And levels 4 and 5. They will come, if they are meant to come. But here is what I have learned watching real collectors. Not one of them started at the top. Every single one started exactly where you are right now, understanding the ladder before climbing it. You just climbed all 5 levels in 15 minutes. That already puts you ahead of most people who will ever spend money on a watch. Every watch I mentioned is linked below, sorted by level. From a gas station to a vault in Geneva. From $10 to $1 million. 5 levels and one single, very human obsession running through all of them. You will never look at a watch the same way again. You will not see a price anymore. You will see a level. You will see a decision. You will see the philosophy on someone's wrist. Next week, we take one of these levels and we tear it completely apart. Crown pick. Set the standard.